Welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics. Very special edition this week. We are joined right now by the Chief Justice of the Missouri Supreme Court, Judge Brent Powell. Thank you so much for the time.
Well, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure, and I've been watching this show forever, and I can't believe I'm now on it.
Well, we're so glad to have you. It is a thing that involves all of our lives, and it seems like now the courts are talked about more than ever. And I think it's a really interesting thing to get to talk to the head of the Missouri judiciary and kind of learn about. I want to learn about your background first. Okay. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your family.
Well, I grew up in the Springfield area. My dad was a lawyer, practicing lawyer, but probably more influential on me was my mother, who was a probation and parole officer.
Oh, wow.
She served the state for many years in that capacity.
You talk about folks that probably don't get their due. I mean, those folks, it's got to be just an incredibly challenging job.
I think it is very difficult. There's a lot of rewards, from the court's perspective. We never see the probationers who succeed, and my mom got to see a lot of those probationers succeed, and in her effort.
What kind of law did your dad practice?
He did mainly insurance defense stuff, did a lot of workers' comp, but I had an uncle who I was very close with, lived just down the street from us, and he practiced. He was a jack of all trades, did a little bit of everything. In fact, there was a great story growing up, whether it's true or not, I'm not sure, but that the founder of Bass Pro, his parents owned the Brown Derbies there, and he was selling his fishing lures out in the back of a liquor store, and they wanted him to go to med school or law school. They sent him to my uncle to chat with my uncle about get on the straight and narrow. And I joked that had it been another lawyer that they sent him to, that I may be in Aspen right now, or
be more persuasive. Well, tell me about your career. You're from Springfield. Where'd you go to school at?
I ended up, believe it or not, I wanted to try to play football, and I had all my dad, my uncles, my grandfather, they all played college football.
What position?
I tried to play, I was an offensive lineman and a linebacker in high school, but I wasn't going to do that in college. Yeah. So I went to a small college, went to William Jewell College, played a little football there, and then ended up graduating. Had a great opportunity, actually, while I was at Jewell. Kit Bond actually would have interns during the semester out in D.C., and Jewell really worked with us and allowed us to get that internship, and then worked with us for hours so we can make it work. So I ended up getting an opportunity to work out in D.C. with Kit Bond's office, and I met a lot of people that really later had a big influence on my career.
Isn't it an incredible thing to look back on the career of Kit Bond and all of the people in this state, prominent folks that have contributed great things to this state, that kind of fall under that tree?
Yeah, it really was. I didn't make it to all the funeral events, but the events that they had here in Jeff City, it really was. It was amazing to see all these people, and they all of which have done outstanding, great things, but a lot of them were, very influential on me and very helpful.
That's kind of part of that ripple effect of going forward.
Yep.
It is an amazing. You really though. Everybody knows you're the Chief Justice. People come and argue their case for the Supreme Court, and you're kind of the head of that. But there's also a way. You're the head of the Judicial Selection Commissions.
Yeah.
There's different ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that really kind of gives you very much a treat. I mean, these people that you sign off on, that you bring in and promote and move up the judicial ladder, that's kind of the Brent Powell tree in a similar way that you're part of the Kit Bond tree.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that process, the folks that I met through Kit Bond's office helped me throughout that, right?
Yeah,
not only at the trial court level, but on the appellate level, but both with the commission, and later when I was fortunate enough to make panels with the governor's office. So
I would say too, in the spot you're in now, it's nice to have a wide net of people that you need a sounding board about somebody. Maybe you don't know this person, but you know a person that's from there that can give you that network of connections is valuable in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, there are a lot of I've served now on the judicial selection committees and commissions, and I know when we're looking at applicants, right, I get all sorts of calls and lots of emails and letters and all that stuff. But I hear some from someone that I know real well, and they know the applicant real well, then that's a really strong recommendation.
Those things matter.
And the people that I met and when I was working out in D.C., those were the type of people that could help me make those calls and send those letters and do those type of things. So it was great. And so I ended up graduating from William Jewell and ended up taking a year off, worked for Kit Bond, and then ended up back at law school. And when I graduated from law school, it was in the late 90s, and the economy was booming, and I got a job at a real big law firm. And actually, some of your viewers may know Gene Paul Bradshaw. He was, he was. He's
really a Missouri legend.
Right? Yeah. And he was with Gage and Tucker, and I was hopeful to work with him. He'd done some criminal work, and I had an interest in doing criminal work based off my mom's history as a probation officer. And then after I got the offer, Gage merged with Lathrop. After that merger happened, they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we need you to kind of come on and do some transactional work." And I learned a lot, worked with a lot of great people there in the real estate department. But it just wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. And one of the people that I had met through Kit Bond was a guy named Todd Graves, and he left a big firm and decided to run for local prosecutor up in Platte County. And after he won that election, my wife was serving as a prosecutor at the time in Jackson County, and she come home with these great stories. I'm like, I want to do this. So Todd got elected, and I reached out to him, and when he had an opening, I was fortunate enough to get hired up there, and that's where I fell in love with the law. I joke all the time that I've kind of still, well, maybe I'll do politics, maybe I'll do something like that. And then when I got into the courtroom in Platte County, I was like, nope, this is what I want to do. This is it. This is what I like to do. So tried a lot of cases up there, and had a lot of fun. In fact, there was a big tree there, the Platte County prosecutor's tree at Catch Marks. There's a bunch of folks that have come out of that office and gone on and done great things. So
I got to say, I got to drive Todd Graves around when he ran for state treasurer.
Oh, really?
All around Butler County one day for Mark Richardson, and learned a ton from Todd.
Yeah, yep. That's when he was at Platte. So
some of the stuff that you talked about as you became Chief Justice is criminal sentencing. Mm-hmm. You want to take a look at that? What does that look like?
Well, I tell you, so after I got on the court, Missouri has what's called the Missouri Sentencing Advisory Commission, which is essentially a sentencing commission. It had been dormant for a very long time, and after Parsons, or actually it was Governor Greitens, but Parsons also was very interested in kind of revigorating that commission. And so we worked with them, and they ended up appointing me to be chair of that, and we kind of got it up and going again. And one of the things we've been actually working very closely with the director, Trevor Foley, is kind of trying to look at ways that we can kind of make the sentencing structure, how we sentence people in Missouri, a little simpler. Right now, it's so complicated. Prosecutors, criminal defense lawyers, law enforcement officers, victims, offenders, the folks that are charged with a crime, they have no idea how their sentence works. When do they get released? When, what does a 5-year sentence mean, right? Mm-hmm. And I know law enforcement officers get frustrated because they arrest someone, they end up going to jail, and they think that they're coming right back onto their streets. And part of the reason is no one really understands when they sentence someone how much more time they're going to actually have to serve. Sure. And so we've been looking at ways to try to maybe simplify that structure a little bit so that it's much more known when at that day, at your actual sentencing, pretty much almost to a T when you're at least going to be eligible to be released.
It feels like that would have a good effect on the judge that's having to do that, making his job more streamlined. And that way, kind of, I hear some folks talk about the backlog of cases, how long it takes to get in front of a judge. Yeah. Simplifying that process should probably compress that backlog. Well,
I mean, one of the reasons why there's a lot of reasons why sometimes it takes a lot of time to get a case resolved. But one of them is trying to figure out, okay, if this is the plea offer, right? And it's a 5-year offer. What does that mean? Does that mean when will I be eligible for parole? And that takes time for the lawyer to try to figure that out, maybe reach out to people at Department of Corrections and kind of research that a little bit, and they give their best guess. We have a tool, actually. I was going to maybe show it, but I don't think it'll work real well on TV. But we have one of the things that the commission put together was a time served calculator. So you can kind of get a kind of an idea. It's not a perfect tool. There's a lot of limitations to it, but at least gives you somewhat of an idea. But you have to do the research to do all that. So it does slow down the process some. And so, yeah, I think we're pretty excited, and I think you'll see some legislation being introduced potentially this next session to try to maybe simplify that process and that procedure so that we can maybe work to try to make our criminal justice system.
When I think it's fair to say every institution is under intense scrutiny. Simplifying it probably instills trust at a time when it's not bad for any institution right now to do what they can do to instill trust.
That's exactly right. Transparency never hurt anybody. You know what I'm saying? And
about mental health, that is something we hear said all the time. Practically, what was taking a mental health consideration into the judiciary? What's that look like?
Well, it's funny. When I first came to the judiciary, I served as a prosecutor with Todd at the state level, and then when he was elevated to the U.S. Attorney's Office, I followed him to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I then was fortunate after about serving a little over 10 years as a prosecutor, I got fortunate to serve as a trial judge, right? And so when I came on as a trial judge, this thought was, look, our job is to call balls and strikes, right? And our job isn't to help people. Our job isn't we're just trying to decide the legal issues. So there's this concept of, hey, maybe we can with low-level offenders, nonviolent offenders. Maybe we could try to figure out ways to try to help them, because what we started seeing and what I started seeing as a trial judge is these folks would come into our system. We would either put them on probation or we put them in Department of Corrections, and then 5 years later, they're back in front of me.
Sure.
Right? And they're charged with even more serious offenses, and it just escalates and escalates and escalates. And so maybe there's a better way, maybe there's a better way. And so this concept of treatment courts started taking off. And then what we started seeing is that it's not just substance abuse, right? It wasn't just alcohol or drugs. What and why or how or the reasons behind it, I'm not sure I will ever know, but there just seems to be this really big surgence of mental health problems.
Just from a financial perspective.
Right.
If you come in and treat someone, it's sure better than incarcerating them and having another trial.
And if incarcerate them, again, they're
a victim of the next crime.
The recidivism rate for folks who are coming out of prison is much higher than the folks that we try to intervene. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, there's bad guys. There's bad guys out there. And I mean, I was a federal prosecutor and state prosecutor, did death penalty cases. I mean, there are bad people out there that we need to make sure and lock away. But there are a lot of people out there that are always going to get out, right? They're going to get out. Sure. They've stolen a car, or they've done something really stupid.
Well, they've made their time, right? They violated the law and they paid their sentence. They're out.
And as a victim I've been a victim of those types of crimes before, and I get frustrated. That's hard, and I'd like to see the person punished. But what society really needs, I think what financially what's good for the state is that we figure out a way to rehabilitate these folks, right, and make them a productive member of our society. And if we can do that, it not only is better for our recidivism rates, right, it improves and our crime rates go down, but it also then financially, it's a cheaper way of dealing with them. And so we're just now seeing a lot more of the mental health issues.
I cannot let you leave, though, before I talk about Mizzou football.
Okay.
I know you're a fan.
Yeah. Now I'll get really excited.
Well, this weekend we're off, but next weekend we have Alabama.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the I think that's one of the biggest games I can remember. And part of it is my expectations have become high just by naturally because of how Coach Drinkwitz has been successful. I didn't know he'd be this good. I think we're going to find out in a big game next weekend.
I completely agree. I was very, with this, the transfer portal and NIL, all this stuff, it's hard to kind of keep track of who the players are, who's on your team, who's not, so I really had no idea what the team was going to look like this year, but they've been fantastic. I've been very excited, and the way we played against Kansas and South Carolina, I mean, we really dominated the line of scrimmage, and that's, I haven't really seen that many times over the years.
And we thought the line was going to be, all right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Give me a prediction.
You know what? this my family will know this. I never, ever say the Tigers are going to win. I want to come in with low expectations, but I do think it'll be a great game.
I'm glad you're I'm superstitious about the Cardinals that way. So I'm going to be watching Saturday. It's going to be fun. And no matter what a great thing for the University of Missouri and this entire state to have so much attention focused on Mizzou and Faurot Field next Saturday.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And getting back to my background, but I had a uncle played football for Faurot.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've been following forever, and he would be just ecstatic. He would be ecstatic.
It is great. Justice Powell, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Yes,
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Representative Jeff Vernetti joins us on our Opinion Maker panel after this.
Shaped our communities. Through trusted alliances, we deliver skilled professional craftspeople while our business partners provide the kind of quality jobs that keep our economy humming. It's a blueprint that has worked since 1882. Turning Missouri into a right-to-work state stalls progress, wipes out jobs, and kills momentum. Right to work is wrong for everyone. Let's keep Missouri moving forward. Visit carpdc.org to learn more.
You know, Missouri farmers have been doing what's best for their land for generations. After all, no one knows what it takes to feed and fuel a growing global population better than they do. So why are trial lawyers threatening Missouri farmers' best defense against weeds? Our farmers don't need to be controlled. They need to be supported. Keep glyphosate in our state. Show your support at TakeControlMissouri.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Missouri farmers.
Missouri's childcare crisis is hurting our children, families, and even our economy. Currently, 78 Missouri counties are designated as childcare deserts, where the number of kids needing childcare exceeds the number of available options. Today, some Missouri families are spending more on childcare than housing, and Missouri's childcare shortage costs our economy $1.35 billion every year. Missouri families and businesses deserve better. Learn more at mochampionofchildren.com.
We have a severe weather alert to report here. The storms also bring the threat of damaging winds and large.
Here's the thing. When storms bear down, we step up.
Ready for that? You bet.
Our teams are always ready to keep your power strong. Ameren.com/poweron.
Welcome back to This Week in Missouri Politics. Opinion Maker panel time. Representative Jeff Vernetti from the Lake. Thank you so much for making the time.
Always great to be
You
back.
look good this summer.
Thank you. Trying to lose some weight.
You got that lake life you have to live on the second hip.
Oh, and really, we got out of the legislature. It's like the freshman 15 or 30 with some of us. So, yeah.
Dr. George Hruza, back from all your world travels. Thank you so much for making time to join us.
Absolutely, having a great time. Jet lag is over, so hopefully I'll stay awake.
You're more host than me. You've made some trips. I really appreciate the co-host, we could say, Mel, the midweek update. Erin Schrimpf, thank you so much for making the time.
Of course, always.
And Jack Cardetti, the Prince of St. James, the family crest of 2 flag stores in one town. Thank you for making the time.
Yeah, appreciate being here.
And as a Columbian, we'll start with you. Fatal shooting, homecoming weekend. It's so many things are going right at the University of Missouri. Homecoming weekend, where homecoming started, ended tragically with a shooting downtown. It does feel like there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at downtown Columbia, Missouri, it's a great place, vibrant during the day. Go there compared to other Midwest cities or whatever. There's not an empty storefront hardly in downtown Columbia. A lot of commerce going on, a lot of going out there. But if you look back at all what these shootings have in common, they all happen on Friday and Saturday nights. They all happen when the bars close. Sure. We have to have more law enforcement on the ground, more visible during those hours. This really is a surge law enforcement job. This isn't something that needs to be taken care of 24/7. Most of the time, it's great down there. But on these weekends, especially during...
I never felt unsafe in Columbia.
You have to have more people there.
Representative Vernetti, the Columbia's a town you know very well.
Yeah.
I was surprised, not shocked, maybe was surprised, but I'll tell you what I was blown away impressed with. Right out of the gate Sunday morning, Moon Choi comes out and says, cannot be the case. We are getting everybody involved. Let's get to work on this. He really stepped up and was a leader, not just of Mizzou, but of the whole town of Columbia.
Yeah, I love the letter. And as a business owner there, and my son went to school there, obviously I have a real vested interest in Columbia's success. And you're right, there's been so many positive things that Columbia's had going for it. It's a shame, though, that it took the university president to do it. I would have liked that that call to action been from the mayor or other officials. I don't know anything about exactly what will fix it. I'm not in law enforcement. I agree with what you said. We need more of a presence there, but I don't know if just having another study or getting some people together for a panel and having a year-long study is the answer. I think people are looking for some real action.
Dr. Hruza, we're taping this on Thursday. Saturday night, Dr. Choi is going to walk downtown from 11 to 3. Does Moon Choi ever screw up?
Well, I mean, I think it's awesome that he's doing that. It brings attention to the issue.
Yeah.
But it actually needs to put some muscle behind it.
Well, it's going to take the city, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've heard the county's going to send some deputies. The highway patrol is going to send some folks. At the end of the day, it's going to take the city that is their job to police this. And it's a little bit of, they call it the People's Republic of Colombia for a reason, right?
Yeah, I know that's a concern. So I'm so glad that the chancellor is really taking, making the push and hopefully get the mayor to come along.
Well, Erin, I mean, we're on the safe side of the river down here in Jefferson City, but up there on the north side of the river, they do vote for this stuff. I mean, they vote to have homeless encampments and all this crazy woke stuff. There's a price to be paid for these screwy decisions, and sometimes it's a price in lives.
Yeah, I thought the mayor's response
pretty weak.
Was very weak. I think one of the worst things you want to hear after a tragedy like that is the words task force, and it was just not the right.
Good Lord.
It was.
Why don't you go
fumble.
Blue Ribbon Commission if you want to totally be a waste of time?
It was a fumble, and Dr. Choi stepped in and he's put his foot down on the gas, and it seems like he hasn't let go. I like this idea of boots on the ground. And seeing what the community is like during those hours that are causing issues. So
your statement's been getting a little better throughout the week, though.
I think what a lot of people don't realize in Columbia, the mayor is one of 7 votes on the city council. That's it. We have a weak mayor, strong city manager form of government. A lot of people in Columbia are talking about maybe Columbia has outgrown that. Maybe we do need to have a system where the mayor actually has both more resources, but also more accountability.
I think it's an old boy from Missouri said the buck stops here, and I think that's the best.
And Columbia does, but it stops with the city manager. It's not accountable directly.
Exactly. Dr. Hruza, you just came back from Israel. Buck stops with President Netanyahu over there, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we just had 250 legislators from 50 states. We had 4 of us from Missouri there, and we did meet with Netanyahu and Herzog and Ohana, who are all sort of the leadership there, and of course Ambassador Huckabee, who gave, I think, the most spirited defense of Israel and what they're doing. The thing that was so key is that we have all this anti-Semitism going on in the U.S. after October 7th, and a lot of those people are really clueless as to what they're really demonstrating. If you go to Israel, you see that it's a totally multicultural society, democratic society also. Everybody votes. The Palestinians, Christians, everybody votes and actually have present in the Knesset. So it's very different from your from someone on the other side. And what for me was the most impactful was we visited the massacre site, the Nova Festival massacre site, and they have pictures there and little mini biographies of all of those 352 that were murdered and some taken as hostages. And so the one that sticks with me is there was this one picture of a budding ballerina kind of doing one of these things I could never do. It's kind of, the legs kind of like this, up in the air.
Scott can do it though.
And and that of course that's all gone. I mean, all the future that they had is gone. So but Israelis are all united as far as what they have to do.
And it makes me chuckle. I see gay people for Palestine, and I'm like, yeah, go over there and be gay. See how that goes for you.
To Dr. Hruza's point, I think it's really hard to build. We've struggled with this in the United States. Democracy is hard. It's hard to build a multicultural, multi-ethnic democracy and also be surrounded in a region where you have enemies everywhere. So, at least over here in the United States, we have Canada and Mexico who are allies. We don't have, we don't have bombs looking at us every day. So certainly, it's interesting to hear his perspective.
Jefferson, let's talk about our own maps here. Governor Keogh signed the map bill, I heard Republicans say there's no possible way they drew a precinct in 2 different congressional districts. I hear them, if they even now push back, they whisper it. A little nervous this may not actually come to anything?
Well, I spoke recently in my district who, was heavy a Trump supporter, 77% in the last election. I think overall where I live, the map is generally supported, but there are those that, whether they're moderates or maybe those that just aren't as involved.
Is the lake in 1 or 2 congressional districts?
Well, we're in 2 right now. So,
but I mean, you get to vote twice?
No, I'm just saying currently we have Congressman Onder has part of it and Alford has the rest. It would be now an all Alford district should the map go forward. I think people like that. They like to have one office to go to. That was a common trend in the times that we've spoke. But there's a lot of the people that maybe aren't engaged. Maybe they're not watching shows like this that they are scratching their head at the whole map process.
You think they're going to scratch their head, Erin, in Kansas City when they have to vote in 2 different congressional districts in the same precinct?
I think if they don't resolve that little issue with the precinct that stands out, I think there's definitely they're going to have some issues.
There's no way they screwed that up, right, Jack?
Oh, I absolutely expect for that to be struck down in court. I mean, it just won't pass constitutional.
I don't even think a circuit judge in Polk County will let you put together a non-contiguous district.
Yeah, no, it absolutely. I mean, the problem
that is
here
the case, though. It's
we
almost too good to be true.
We
right?
just had an entire special session where both the things that passed aren't ever going to become law.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, both things you passed. If you did have, if Washington sent a map that was not contiguous, that's a slap in the face, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is, we stuck our neck out to support this this map, and then to be struck down because of this thing, you can almost wonder
that's not a liberal judge thing. That is a huge map that's not contiguous.
Yeah.
I don't even think it makes it past circuit court if that's the case. All right, with a minute left, Jack, who won the week?
Well, I'm going to say actually, I'm going to say that those voters over in Kansas City for now have won the week. Ooh. They got to vote for not just one congressman right now. They get to vote. They get to vote for 2.
County executive.
Yeah, exactly.
County executive. Kay Barnes coming back. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
That is a win.
I like Kay. Who won the week?
I'm going to say my friends at the Missouri Association of Prosecuting Attorneys for hiring former U.S. Attorney Tim Garrison as their executive.
Daryl Moore too. What a great career. Now Tim Garrison. They couldn't have made a better pick.
Yep.
Who won the week?
Kehoe, because he did sign those things, and it's now off his desk, and now it's up to the courts.
Now we're talking about something else, right?
Exactly.
Who won the week?
The Missouri legislature smacking down Illinois. We beat him with our maps. Now we're beating him on the softball field. 19-8 win at Busch Stadium in the Bi-State Showdown. So it's good to.
Our baseball team couldn't beat Illinois' team, but our legislators did.
The reps and senators hit well at Busch Stadium. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to say Moon Choi. What a tragic ending to homecoming night in Columbia, but I don't think there could have been a better response from Moon Choi. And I think you're seeing now not only that community, but leaders around the state are rallying behind him to make sure when folks send their children to Missouri's flagship university, they're safe. He won the week big time. We'll be, speaking of the University of Missouri, we will be at the University of Missouri S&T down in Rolla, Missouri next week as we continue our college tour here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
This Week in Missouri Politics is brought to you by the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Ameren, Spire, Evergy, and the Missouri Association of Career Fire Protection Districts.